Have you ever come across a music-loving animal? You got a cat, a dog, a bird, any pets that like their music? Can you, or perhaps hate it, can you tell us a little bit more? Because Coggeshall residents are regularly being treated to some 80s classic pop in their very own gardens, courtesy of a local blackbird. Have a listen to this. Smithy, did you get that? Did you get what that blackbird was singing, do you think?
I need to hear it again.
You want to hear it again? Here it is. Isn't that awesome? Come On Eileen, as sung by a blackbird right here in Essex. Frankly, it has to be, doesn't it? Fantastic. And you can see that full video on the BBC Essex Facebook and Twitter pages. It first came to light via a video from Essex Wildlife Trust. And when we spotted that, thank you to Essex Wildlife Trust, we simply had to follow it up. Because how many times have you ever heard a blackbird sing like this? That is absolutely a joy to listen to. Check out the video when you get a spare moment or two. The video is filmed by Kate Cooling-Smith, and as I say, it's on our Facebook and Twitter right now if you want to take a peek. Julie Standen lives in Coggeshall and is neighbour to that very famous blackbird. Julie, good morning to you.
Hi. Hello.
Morning. What's it like having a blackbird belting out tunes like that next door to you?
Well, it's brilliant, isn't it? So, we noticed him a few years ago, and it's been really nice to hear him come back. Well, he hasn't gone anywhere, but hear him again summer after summer. But yeah, it's brilliant. You end up singing the song for the whole day, which is, it's not a bad thing. It's a classic. But it's lovely. He's the loudest bird ever, especially at 4:30 in the morning. But yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
When did the penny drop, if you like? Where, because as you said, the birds are quite noisy in particular this time of year, aren't they? And they're singing away. When did the penny drop that this is a recognisable song?
Do you know what? I think you kind of heard it, and then maybe it was one of those things where you just sort of started singing the song and you kind of don't know why. And then you think, oh, my God, yeah, that's it. The bird is singing Come On Eileen. And I remember speaking to Kate about it and saying, have you heard this bird singing Come On Eileen? And she had heard it too. And we named it the Dexys bird. And then during lockdown, we had a neighbour chat and it kind of came up on there as well. So, yeah, we've all heard it and it's really funny. And we don't know, we think he's taught another bird. Or he's got quite a big area, but that he sings in. But it's very nice to hear it. It's really funny.
And the bird regularly visits your garden now. So have you heard him or her in action singing a bit of Dexys Midnight Runners now?
All the time. This morning he was leading the dawn chorus, and I've heard him this morning. Every day he's there. And,
it must be quite lovely.
Singing away.
That must be quite nice, actually, to have your little visitor there, and there he is. Come on, Eileen.
It is, yeah, it's really brilliant. We've tried to teach him, some new songs, maybe Africa by Toto and Gino by Dexys, but, he's a firm favourite of Come On Eileen. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I wondered that. You get your stereo on and maybe play some other iconic 80s tunes and see if he decides to mimic those ones as well. But no joy, no?
No, but if he does, we'll let you know.
And does he visit all of the gardens? Does he go to different gardens around the neighbourhood then?
Yeah, well, I know when Kate was pregnant with her son, he seemed to sit outside her bedroom window and keep her awake all night. He does. He visits all around the neighbourhood. So yeah, we all get to hear him. But as I say, he's very loud. So, even if he wasn't sat in your garden, you'd still hear him.
And you say now you've been left with a little bit of earworm, have you, Julie? Because you hear...
Absolutely.
Hear that. And then the actual song is stuck in your head for the whole day.
All day, yeah.
What
Every
a brilliant
day.
story. Thank you so much for coming on, Julie. Julie Standen in Coggeshall. The blackbird goes into Julie's garden and belts out a little bit of Dexy's Midnight Runners. Do you want to have a listen again? It is quite something.
Oh, you couldn't make it up. And really, hearing is believing. Isn't that wonderful? When you told me about this, I looked at, I gave you an eyebrow, didn't I? Eyebrows down.
Yeah.
Well, wow. Robert Radley is a music teacher in Colchester. Robert, good morning. Thanks for joining us on BBC Essex this morning. What were your first thoughts when you heard the bird?
I mean, it's the first time I heard it was yesterday, and it is clearly the chorus of Come On Eileen. So I had a little look at it and had a listen and tried to work it out and thought, actually, hang on a minute. I was like, either this blackbird lives near a wedding venue, because that's a typical wedding song. And then I thought, hang on a minute, we're in a pandemic and there haven't been any weddings and receptions going on. So I don't know where the blackbird picked up Dexy's Midnight Runners.
You got to wonder, haven't you?
You have got to wonder. But yeah, interestingly, he's a bit higher in key than the original.
Is he? So is he sort of pitched it up a bit?
Yeah, it's up the whole time, so it's in E major instead of D major.
E major rather than C major. Would that be
E
more?
E major instead of D major.
Oh, E major instead of D major. Okay. Would that be more difficult for him to do? Do you think, or do you think that might suit his range?
I think it suits the blackbird's range better. To be fair, I think he's just thought about the performance and he's moved the key to suit his voice.
Is that a difficult thing to do? If you're going to try and perform someone else's song, would you change it to a different key to suit yourself?
I personally would, depending on the song and whether it's a female artist or a male artist that's singing it. I'm not sure the blackbird thought too much about it, to be fair.
Yeah, is that good practice? Is it okay to do that in music if you're copying someone else's song, if you're doing a cover version?
I think it's worthwhile doing it to keep it within a comfortable range, because otherwise you're going to kind of stress your voice and it's not going to be as a polished performance. But yeah, I just thought absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether you can put requests in. I wouldn't mind hearing some Van Halen or something else. They're absolutely awesome.
Well, maybe we could ask Julie to have a word with the blackbird. Are there many songs that can be, just identified from a tiny snippet, just a tiny number of notes, like "Come On Eileen," or is that stand out in that regard?
No, I'd say there are songs. I mean, the blackbird's singing 4 notes. It's just saying "Come On Eileen," literally those lyrics. So it's clearly straight away an earworm, and I think Julie was saying before about kind of hearing something in the day, not really kind of knowing where it's coming from, and then all day she's singing "Come On Eileen" at work and stuff. So I think that's just from hearing that, and we call that kind of an earworm. Technical word for it is a hook or a riff. So it's a small little hook in the song.
I heard that, I don't know if this is true or not, Robert, but when you get the earworm, I heard that the way to stop it is to sing "Happy Birthday" and then it stops the other song in your head. But I don't know if that's true or
I've
not.
never heard that, but I'm definitely going to have to try that now. I think I've Come On Eileen in my head.
I don't know if there's been any kind of scientific studies, but there you go. I'd heard that. Robert, great to have you on the show as well. A music teacher in Colchester, Robert Radley. And what an incredible story here in Essex of a singing blackbird. Singing not as you might expect, we hasten to add. I want to hear some of your stories then when it comes to birds or perhaps cats or dogs, because you often see those funny videos doing the rounds every now and again on social media, don't you, with a pet cat or a pet dog that reacts in a certain way when they hear a certain voice or something comes on the telly or a certain bit of music. Sometimes with dogs trying to sing along, don't you? You see that quite a lot. Maybe
you've got a parrot that can that knows some lyrics or is even a little bit tuneful. I don't suppose there's anything else out there that likes a bit of "Come On Eileen."
Well,
maybe you've got a "Come On Eileen" story.
Yeah, come on, Arlene, stories welcome. Also singing pets on the show. What do you want to tell us? 0800 111 40 41. You can text us as well on 81333. Start your message with Essex. Glorious start to your Wednesday morning here in Essex this 23rd of June. It's breakfast with me, Sonya Watson, and the travel from Barry Lewis.